Okay, so I wanted to get on here and do something a little different than you guys don't usually see and don't think about as well. So I'd like to go ahead and put in an input of this that Friday was insane. We ran quite literally around 700 points last Friday. That was actually insane. So here I'm going to be doing how to avoid losses more and then how to set a stop loss in a reasonable area. So mainly how to avoid losses more in trading. So we're going to be starting with news. Of course, news is obvious. If you want to look up news and everything, you just need to look up Forex Factory. Or in general, if it's not on Forex Factory, you need to be going online and going to X and following the major news feeds to see if we have FOMC or any major news coming in. So again, we go ahead and write that down real quick up here. Forex Factory, and then you want to have the app X for bigger news. Okay, this is for bigger news. NVIDIA can impact this as well. Now, what we're going to do as well on the liquidity. So let's say you're trading and your stop or let's say your trade is going to be an inverse fair value gap. Okay, so here we have a clear 15-minute fair value gap at the low after sweeping liquidity here. We have a 15-minute inversion, and now we're probably thinking to ourselves, why did this not work out that much? Well, we're seeking higher time frame liquidity. So what is liquidity? Of course, liquidity here. It's just a low and a high. Liquidity here, liquidity here, liquidity here, liquidity here, and then mainly like I want to say mainly like the session lows and session highs are the best thing. So Asia high got tagged in London high, and then kind of disgressed into a lower and lower all day. Typically, when you see this swept in Asia and London, typically New York typically tends to follow. Now, retail, okay? Everyone in the entire probably industry, after seeing this liquidity get swept at the low on Friday, probably was like, okay, we're all gonna long off this low, right? Well, let me just go ahead and tell you what happened. So we dug, as you can see, around 200 points lower than just that low. That line was also just moved. So we dug around like 100 points lower than just that line. So let me go ahead and show you New York AM opening. All right. We have, okay, what do we have here? We have the low here. We're like, all right, guys, everyone's going to get in here, and everyone in the world thinks probably the same thing, okay? Try to avoid the most obvious trades. I mean, if they're obvious with your setup, go ahead and do it as much as you can. However, as you can see here with your stop, if you're with heavy sizing, this went down another 30 something points. So I'm not sure how big your stop losses are with bigger sizing. However, if this goes down another 30 something points and you're just over here like over stressing, that will ruin your trades in general. Okay, so with that being the 1 minute time frame, let's go ahead and go back to the 30-minute time frame where I have things drawn out. Okay, so I go ahead and I showed you what liquidity, news, and retail was. Retail is mainly just the most average trades everyone's going to take, and you want to avoid a manipulation leg. So watch out for manipulation. And now what that typically is, let's say manipulation. What that typically, oh, Jesus, what that typically is we're going to go over here, we're going to draw it for you. That makes it easier. Let's say your entry is here. Okay, we come down to your entry, come up a little bit, come down to retrace, you get psyched out a little bit, comes up, and then just barrels straight down, and then comes right back up, rejects back into it, and then launches. This, in general, is quite literally a manipulation leg. I mean, honestly, it's quite literally all it is. It's stop hunting. You just need to make sure you're watching out for that. When you form a W shape is kind of when I enter a little bit. I like looking for a manipulation leg down and lower. Um, but necessarily overthinking as well, that can cause you the worst losses. So if you're overthinking that, let's say your trade will not work out, overthinking or stressing is killing your trading. Why do I say that? Is because if you stress about an entry and you don't enter, okay, you're missing out on hundreds, if not thousands, of profits. Okay? Now, if you're entering and you're stressing you missed out or you're overthinking you missed out, you're always thinking over here like, man, what am I doing? I didn't enter this trade and you just FOMO'd. Okay? That will kill your trading in so many different ways when I say that. All right? You need to avoid overthinking and stressing whenever you're doing your entry. If you want to enter a trade, just do it without hesitation as long as everything's aligning. Okay? That is literally all I can tell you today in the short video as much as I can because I know you guys have short attention spans, which is fine. But still, avoid losses more in trading. News, liquidity, retail, manipulation legs. Of course, this is the news. and then overthinking and stressing. So that would be it for today. That is the going to be another boot camp video going in the playlist. And yeah, hopefully this helps you guys. See you in the next one.